Welcome to another edition of Bury Your Bookie. I'm Jeff Deforrest. Very happy to be with you on this fine Thursday here on NoFilter.net and our various other platforms where we perform. And yesterday, we had a failed attempt. Unfortunately, we're going to try and resurrect this to literally dig up one of our handicappers, Troy West, who's an outstanding baseball handicapper, has a service that is absolutely dynamite. We're going to try to bring you the best people and people that we have respect for here on the program after getting off to our own 2-0 start. And I don't know, well, we kind of hinted at this yesterday. I don't know if we could make it or declare it an official pick because I don't think I had the balls to actually say it outright. But one of our theories is whenever you see the level of sophistication in any kind of handicapping that delves into areas of minutia that not even the sharpest of mathematical minds could comprehend, often I think it's fortunate and fortuitous to go ahead and just play dead against that. And we were talking about this stat that I never heard of yesterday on the show. That was put out by a handicapper named Sean Trippetti of Action Sports, which I think took over, at least the publication that I was looking at, the New York Post, took over for Las Vegas Sports Information Network, which was Brent Musburger's program to initially, I think, bury America. I think they had a great deal of success and eventually sold the thing. But Action Sports, I get this publication every day, and very eloquently written. It's very sophisticated, the amount of research they do and the levels they dive into. But it makes you think that there's a reason that a lot of clubs that follow sabermetrics and have math nerds running the show outside, with apologies to, of course, the Tampa Bay Rays, that a lot of these clubs are just simply fucked because they dive too deeply into this. So this was a stat. It was xwOBA in caps CON, which is expected weighted on-base average contact. Essentially, they're talking about what happens when a hitter makes contact against a pitcher. What kind of impact do these outs have, or what velocity? I mean, all of this garbage factors into it. And my theory is go against that every time. Because it takes out one of our favorite tenets, which is once in a while, go with gut instinct. So this guy gave out the Athletics yesterday. We kind of sneered at it at plus 140 over the Mets. Final score, Mets 9, Athletics 1. Imagine going into some salty old dog GM's office back in the days in the heyday of baseball there, where you had guys like Harry Dalton. He was a GM with the Orioles, and later on I got to know him a little bit when he was the general manager of the then California Angels, now Los Angeles Angels. Imagine you're an agent, and you go in, you're trying to negotiate a couple of grand for a player, because that was the going rate back then, in excess of the 120,000 or whatever the player was making. And you said, hey, did you check this out? His xwOBA con is off the chart there, Harry. What do you think about that? He'd have had you escorted out by security and a jacket that ties in the back, that's for sure. Now, if you aren't betting, and we have a 50-1 shot for you that we're going to give out on the program today, and we're also going to try and connect with the great Troy West, who last I heard from Troy, as he was trying to make his way onto the show yesterday, they were throwing his ashes in front of the Bellagio fountains after a tough trip to Las Vegas. So we're honest about it. I mean, if we're getting buried, we're going to be the first to tell you. Now, if you're betting and you're in action and you want to take advantage of our 50-1 shot, you can do it. Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football right now. We got preseason games coming up, all kinds of action in the NFL, college football right around the corner. From preseason NFL to college kicking off, Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. You think you know your stuff? And this is great stuff, too. Get in on their winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. Always a lot of fun and very difficult. All you have to do is pick one game, no spread. Boom, one winner every week. But you can't use the same team again. That's where it gets treacherous late in the season. When the game's over, head on over to their online casino. They have poker. They have blackjack. You can indulge in over 150 slot games. Head to the website today and use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, and get in on all the action. Bet Online. The game starts here. All right, many things. So don't get cute. That's number one. I don't know if you guys are big on these kind of researched statistical things that you never heard of, quantifiers that are quantifying your qualifiers to begin with. And it's insane Because after all of this brilliant logic, of course, the Mets go out and pound the Oakland Athletics, and they're in the wild card chase. They have a lot of incentive to go out and perform. And they're getting Lindor's getting hot. He hit his 100th home run as a Met. Now one of a handful of players to have 100 home runs as a shortstop with two different teams. But yeah, all the pristine logic in the world goes right out the window. Now we want to give you our golf pick here, and this is the stuff of which legends are made. This will put me in the category of Billy Walters. Maybe even though we could dig up memories of Jimmy the Greek, although I'm not sure exactly what kind of level of handicapper the Greek was. I remember him just tearing up tickets at the track and firing them at the wall with a cup of coffee along with it and saying, "Fuck this place, I'm never coming back." But then he would go on TV and he was Jimmy the Greek. Jimmy the Greek Snyder, of course, I checked out many years ago. But this, like I said, I mean, it's the stuff of which legends are made. So we're going to the game of golf, which I started betting, I want to say 2014. 2014, I was inclined to give out a pick on the air, and this is great. Let's hope that this works too, because got Troy West about to join us here on the program. All right, let's see if we can bring him in. We're going to attempt to anyway. He should be standing by, Troy West. I might have knocked him out of the box there. So sign back in, Troy, if you're with us, because we want to get his baseball picks for tonight. But yeah, so I give out, I'm on a show, and I give out Martin Keimer to win the U.S. Open. I had been watching this guy. All right, let's see if we could try in here this time as he's knocking on the door. He's right there. He is. Oh, my God. It's a major accomplishment from a technological point here on Bury Your Bookie. I was going to give out my 50 to 1 shot in the. I don't know. Do you guys handicap golf, Troy? How are you, by the way?
We do. It's actually one of my favorite sports to handicap, and I love the FedEx St. Jude. It's a great tournament. So yes, do a lot of top 20s, top 10s. We'll throw out some outrights here and there, but yes, love golf. As a matter of fact, we were a part of the beautiful blow up last week. I don't know if you got an opportunity to see great
Oh
Meister
yeah,
last
don't
week.
tell me you had that guy. I never heard of him.
Oh, it's painful. I'm not gonna say we had him pre-tournament. We had some live bets going in there. He landed that eagle on 13, and then followed up with a snowman on 14.
Quadruple,
And
a quad.
that was a rough one. That was rough.
He left the green in a wheelchair after that. He was staggering.
Yeah.
He couldn't even stand up. Now he came back and then he double bogeyed another hole a couple of holes later. I mean, that was spitting a bit. I mean, what worse than having the shoe stand up in the saddle before the finish line? He had this thing under wraps. Nobody was going to catch him. He's out there by 4 strokes with like 6 holes to play. It was incredible.
Let's just say he's very lucky that was not a well-known tournament, right? Can you imagine if that was a major or Augusta or something like that? This guy would be eating crow for a while.
It was Van de Velde. It really was.
It
Remember
was.
when Jean Van de Velde was up there on the tee? He's going to win the British Open at the time. And he had this little caddy that looks like some kind of leprechaun. You would thought you'd see him running out on the court with a Celtics flag or something in a funny costume. And he's ready to hand the guy a putter as he's on the tee. And he says, "Look, you're not hitting a driver here, Jean." And the guy gets up there like he was Kevin Costner in Tin Cup and goes ahead and insists on hitting a driver, hits it right into a swamp. And the next thing you know, he's in a moat, and one of the biggest choke jobs in the history of any golf tournament. That was close to that, although not as significant of a tournament. All right, so I'm going to give out Billy Horschel at 50 to 1. Billy Horschel. I don't know. Are you going to laugh or sneer at that pick, Troy West?
No, not at all. Billy, he looked good in the Open a few weeks ago. He's a streaky golfer, right? So he's one of those guys. If he can get going, this guy's got an opportunity without a doubt. So I'm not gonna argue that one. I'm not gonna argue. This is a pretty open field. I think it can really go any which way. I'll give out a pick for you. We're going Colin Morikawa top 10.
Top
Was the
10,
pick that we
okay.
gave out. Colin Morikawa top 10.
What are you getting on that? Like 3 to 1 or something? I see
Yeah,
it's 12
yeah,
to 1 to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I think you're getting about 2.5 to 1. Yeah.
Well, that's not bad. All right, 5 to 2 on Colin Morikawa to be in the top 10. He's been playing well. He hasn't really been at that exceptional level that he achieved a couple of years ago, I guess, where he was red hot. But still, it seems like he's coming back into form and is more of a significant contender. I was looking at Horschel, and now he ended up second. He kind of spit the bit a little bit in the Open. He was right there. He was in control, and then had a couple of hiccups, as they say. Oh, it's a pity. His ball has found its way into a watery grave. Didn't he hit one that smacked off a train as it was going by?
Yeah,
And
he did. Yes,
ended
he
up
did.
somewhere, in Cleveland, Ohio. So he was right there though, and then he came back, and after the bitter disappointment of coughing up the lead there in the Open when he had a chance to win a major, he finished seventh in this Wyndham tournament that took place last week. So still in form, and maybe he can do it. His record there at the St. Jude FedEx Classic is not all that stellar, as he's missed the cut in two of his last three performances. And I'm recommending to the people that watch Bury the Bookie,
Mm.
Troy, that he's going to go out there and win the thing at 50-1. But there's no romance in betting the chalk. Look, it doesn't take a genius to come up with Scotty Scheffler or Xander Schauffele this year.
No kidding. But I agree with you on that. But boy, we'd be retired, Defo, if we kept betting Scotty Scheffler. We'd be retired. We'd be done. We wouldn't be doing the show. We'd be retired if we kept throwing chalk with Scotty Scheffler on these tournaments.
Yeah, it's almost disgusting. You come back and you have to tell somebody that you had Scheffler. And there's always somebody that's most people, especially the people that have lost on the tournament by betting against them, are more inclined to just sneer at you and go, "Yeah, fucking chalk. Why don't you go gargle with some milk of magnesia?" So, yeah, Scheffler, I have to stay away from him. All right, so who is your pick to win it all in this thing? You got Morikawa in the top 10.
I didn't give an official pick to win the whole thing, but Morikawa and Rory, I think, will be duking this thing out. We'll see. They tee off here in just a few hours. I'm a big kind of live golf bettor. A lot of the apps out there now allow you to bet live, and it's kind of nice to see who comes out of the gate, who gets these slower starts. But if you're an avid sports bettor out there, you can bet live. So that's where my head's at with this one. But Colin Morikawa, I'd take a shot to win this thing, and then obviously I think Rory McIlroy. He's had a very up and down year, very bipolar type year, but I think he wants to close out this season on top. So Rory's another guy to look out for.
It's funny, when a guy was standing over a putt, he used to have Ken Venturi, lacing the broadcast with all kinds of pros about how valuable this putt would be for his Ryder Cup chances. Now you have Jim Nantz going, "Hey, you know what? It's 4-1 that he makes this thing. Dial up FanDuel right now."
Yep.
It's really funny how the game has changed and is in-game betting. All right, this got to me real quickly. I don't know if you have an opinion on any of this, but and I'm looking at odds to win. I couldn't believe this. It actually had me meandering around the television dial last night, and I ended up watching a very sad program, My 600-Pound Life. Where these women go to this guy, Dr. Now, who looks like Paul Bearer, the former manager of The Undertaker. I don't know if you're familiar with the horror movie actor Peter Lorre. Yeah, the doctor looks like that. I mean, it really looks like death warmed over, and he comes in and he's trying to help these people get to the point where they would be eligible to get that bariatric surgery and possibly save their lives. And the only reason I found this show is because ESPN was going over the schedule for the NBA Cup, which I find to be as insignificant as anything that you could ever dream up, this in-season NBA tournament. Do you at Troy Wins attach any importance to any of this? I mean, they're going into it and they're like, "Oh, look at that. You definitely don't want to get married on November 14th. That's when the Lakers travel to San Antonio, LeBron versus Wemby in the NBA Cup." And there are odds actually to win like the MVP in this thing, Troy. What do you make of that? I mean, has the world gone to the point where wagering has become borderline criminally insane?
Yeah, oh, it absolutely has. I mean, I think we were laughing just seeing the Olympics and the stuff you could bet on with the Olympics and, handball games, cricket games, you name it. I mean, it's like, if it brings an audience, it brings an audience. I think that's what people are trying to do with gambling is bring a whole different audience that they thought they could never do. So hey, more power to them. If it's bringing an audience, that's what we'll do. And I think that's what sports betting and gambling's doing. It's just bringing audiences to stuff we've never watched: swimming, cricket, handball, golf, Olympic golf. I mean, all this crap that we're betting on now, gymnastics, across the board. We'll do just about anything to bring an audience nowadays, won't we?
Little League Baseball. Don't tell me you're sending it in
Yeah.
on Little League Baseball.
No, that's getting into the degenerate mode if we're going to Little League Baseball. Uh, although I did see
Oh, I want to see some
Mexico.
birth certificates. I really do. I want to
Yeah,
see some
bet
birth
bet
certificates and chemical examinations.
Mhm. Bet the under
Yeah.
with Mexico. It looks like they've got a good pitching staff. They threw their third no hitter yesterday, so bet the under when Mexico's on the bump.
And Jock Peterson in an Arizona game had a little league homer. That was fantastic.
Yes.
I don't know what kind of odds you could have gotten on that a guy was going to hit a ground ball over first base and end up scoring on the play himself. That was phenomenal. All right, how you hitting them? I don't know where you're going for a pick today, Troy. I appreciate the golf input because I am like you. I've gotten into various golf pools, which are always entertaining. Golf is a hedge fund and a hedge player's dream because you can hedge off all day long, and you are getting phenomenal odds. I mean, if you can get past, say, the top 10 most popular plays, Rory and as you mentioned, Schauffele, and Morikawa is one of them. You got this guy Oberg, who people are always,
Mhm.
insisting is about to break through. But if you get past those 7 or 8 guys, you're 20 to 1 and higher. So you don't have to hit that frequently to make a profit on this thing. Are you looking at any baseball action tonight for the fans of Bury the Bookie?
Yeah, a lot of great baseball today. I'm actually going to a night game tonight, so you got some time. The Texas Rangers are at home. They're going against the Minnesota Twins. The Rangers with the great comeback win last night at Boston. They're still in the hunt in the AL West. This is a team that's still chasing the Mariners and the Astros. They do get Jacob deGrom back. They just got Tyler Mahle back. They've got Corey Bradford on the bump tonight. I just think these bats for the Texas Rangers, they're starting to find something. They're at home against the Twins. The Twins are throwing out a gas can tonight. Give me the Texas Rangers. Should be about minus 110. Rangers are hot. They're playing a little bit better. The bats are starting to liven up a little bit. Texas Rangers on the money line, minus 110 at home against the Twins.
All right, and I'm hoping you're bouncing back like we are expecting Billy Horschel to do from the devastation of finishing second in the Open and winning this St. Jude thing to start out the FedEx Cup Championship chase. Because I had implied, and I don't know if this was actually the case, that some of your ashes were still being spread in the Bellagio fountains after that Vegas trip. uh, that's a tough one, huh? I mean, did you feel like Nick Cage? You're going to line the hotel room, the slimy hotel room, with all kinds of booze and just drink yourself away?
I did. I did. It was one of those situations. I walked up to the counter, and every sports book in the country had the total at 7.5. Everyone. I looked everywhere. I should have walked across the street and betted at Resort World, but I said, you know what? Screw it. I'll take it at 7 at plus 120. They gave me better odds, plus 120. But I said, I'd rather have minus 110 and give me that half run, especially in baseball.
Sure.
And sure as shit, the damn game ends 4-3 on a walk off in the seventh, and got the push. But that's one of those pushes that you're scratching your head, going, "Give me a break," right?
You're betting exponentially to accommodate all of your previous losses, and you would have got out
Correct.
for the trip. Except for
Exactly
the
right.
fact that you live and die. That hook is like a dagger. It really is. I mean, it's a sword of Damocles for anybody wagering, whether you're talking about baseball or the NFL. All right,
Yeah.
Troy, where can people find your material? Because it's always great having you on the show. And you became an experimental guinea pig yesterday. We weren't able to connect. I was getting the grinding circle. And today, no problem. So
No
whatever it was,
problems.
we managed to overcome it. Where can people find your stuff here for the fans of Bury Your Bookie?
Yeah, yeah. Get to Instagram. It's Troy West on Instagram. The website is troywins.com. Got a great special, 7 days for $7. That gets you everything. We cover prop bets, prize picks, VIP. We do the whole gamut. You get everything at troywins.com. Take a look at 7 days for $7. A great promotion we're running just to give us a shot. And as always, at our website, if you're not happy, we'll give you your money back guaranteed. So again, Instagram, it's Troy West, and the website is troywins.com.
All right. Good luck with your plays there. And thanks so much for joining us. And I appreciate you being the first guy to actually make an appearance here on Bury Your Bookie.
I appreciate Defo. Go Rangers. And yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully, we'll be back next week with you guys.
All right. Sounds good. Troy West, ladies and gentlemen. One final thought. So Troy gives you Morikawa in the golf tournament, top 10 finish at 5-2. I am trying to establish a legend here. And Henry, if we hit this one, it's going to be a thing of beauty. Billy Horschel, 50-1 to win the FedEx St. Jude Classic. Now, you don't have to bet a lot of money on that, right? I'm hedging off now already, but $20 get you what? Get you $1,000 on that thing. That's absolutely fantastic. How could you possibly not be willing to just go ahead and fly a venture at 20 on that. I'm going to throw a couple of bucks on that for sure, and hope for the best. And if you're in contention, you get your money's worth, even if you lose. It should be, as they say, this is for entertainment purposes only that we make these ridiculous, preposterous predictions about a golf tournament with a 50-1 shot. But yeah, this J.J. McCarthy thing, the Minnesota Vikings all of a sudden are real happy. And it's interesting how this goes. A guy that's pretty much been, you would have to say, tantamount to a bust, closer to that than he is to successful. He's still in the league. Sam Darnold is now going to be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy showed a lot of promise. A lot of people that were Michigan fans were saying, oh, well, he can throw the football a lot better than people give him credit for. And that appeared that it might be the case, and based on one flimsy piece of evidence, a preseason game where he was firing a rock around like maybe the pro game fit him a little bit better than what he was doing at Michigan under Jim Harbaugh. So he goes down and out for the season now with a meniscus tear, which seems a little odd. You see guys come back from ACL tears inside of the same season if they're injured in the preseason. A meniscus is usually a milder injury and much more able to be compensated for quickly, and yet out for the season. So all of a sudden, the Minnesota Vikings are putting out this glowing prose about Sam Darnold, who, he was with the Jets. I mean, that's a place where quarterbacks go to be ruined, and they've done it to a couple. I don't know that Mark Sanchez was going to be any great shake, but certainly Sam Darnold, I thought he was going to be a pretty good pro. And it may turn out to be the case as he now gets a starting now with the Minnesota Vikings. But if they were being honest in their PR department and they were going to put out a press release about McCarthy's injury, which they did, and they said, how wonderful Sam Darnold is doing in the preseason, and he comes in, he's well-equipped, and he's a knowledgeable cornerback, he grasps the system, he's a workaholic, a gym rat, all of this flattering stuff. If they were being honest, wouldn't they just put out a press release that said, Minnesota Vikings, we're fucked? I rest my case. All right. Good luck on the Horschel bet. And, of course, our appreciation for Troy West coming on the program. And he does a dynamite job handicapping baseball, even if it was possibly true that his ashes lay somewhere outside of the Bellagio fountains right now in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada. Thanks for tuning in for Troy. I'm Jeff Deforrest. We'll see you next time. Tomorrow's Degenerate Friday edition of Bury Your Bookie.